And joining us now from Anchorage, Alaska is former SeaWorld trainer Samantha Berg. Samantha, good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning, Rebecca. Thanks for having me.
So you were a trainer in the 90s for SeaWorld. Did you ever feel that your safety was threatened?
You know, back then, I really didn't feel like my safety was threatened at all. But of course, I didn't know the scope of the aggressive acts that had been committed by killer whales against trainers. And those are all available on the internet now. You can read about them. They're public knowledge. And also, when I was at SeaWorld, there was a dangerous combination of what I would call arrogance and false confidence in the animal training department. So there was this sense of that if you did everything right, then nothing would happen to you. And in fact, and then when things did go wrong, there was this attitude of blame the trainer. So basically, knowing what I know now, there's no way I would get into the water with a killer whale right now.
You wouldn't. You also knew Tilikum when he first arrived at SeaWorld. In your estimation, was he a dangerous killer whale to begin with? Would you have ever gotten in the water with him?
Well, Tilikum was a dangerous killer whale, and he has been responsible for the death of 3 people at this point. He had already killed one person, Kelty Byrne, at Sea Land of the Pacific, and then he killed another person in 1999, and then he killed Don Branchow in February 2010. So I think really his record speaks for himself. That whale should not have been at SeaWorld.
SeaWorld released a statement saying that OSHA's allegations lack evidence and a, quote, fundamental lack of understanding. What's your take on this?
What's my take on this? Well, I feel like, SeaWorld is, it should be held responsible for their actions in this situation. Really, you can blame, there's 3 entities you can blame. You can say it was Tilikum's fault, you can say it was SeaWorld's fault, or you could say it was Don's fault. And what OSHA is saying by this willful violation is there was either an intentional disregard or there was plain indifference to the safety of the trainers. And when you look at what happened, SeaWorld put trainers in dangerous proximity to an animal who had already been responsible for the death of 2 people, and then a 3rd person was killed. So I really think that speaks for itself.
You've said you agree with OSHA's recommendation that trainers don't work in the water with killer whales. What else could possibly make this situation right? And not only that, make it a safer situation for people who visit SeaWorld as well as trainers at SeaWorld, in your opinion, in the future?
Well, I think SeaWorld thinks that they can basically change the thing so it's safer for the trainers. They can mitigate their liability by changing their policy. And really, I don't believe that's possible with killer whales. These are wild animals. They're highly intelligent. They're very social. They're being forced to perform 5 times a day for their entire lives for dead fish. They're performing stupid tricks, and they're living basically in concrete tanks. So I don't really think there is anything that SeaWorld could do to make it safer for the trainers. Really, what they should do, it's time to stop the shows. It's time to stop forcing these animals to perform in basically a circus environment. And they should release the animals that are young enough and healthy enough to be released. And the animals like Tilikum, who are old and sick and have put in 25 years in the industry, should be released to an open ocean pen so they can live out their lives and just experience the natural rhythms of the ocean. It would be such a PR coup for SeaWorld if they were willing to send Tilikum back to Iceland. What an amazing thing.
Samantha Berg, we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.